Are you curious how Randy made this Star Wars parody? Well, it starts with a concept in his crazy brain.
Hey, watch it.
Here, I will storyboard it for you. It starts with Danny and Bella in a room with a table and an aluminum can. Danny turns to Bella and says, "Hey Bella, I am a Jedi Knight. Watch me use the Force to crush this can." Danny holds out his hand, closes his eyes, clears his mind, and uses the Force to levitate the can. He then crushes the can and lets it fall to the floor. Bella is not impressed. She tells Danny,
"That's nothing. I will use the Force to throw you into outer space."
Why are you talking like that?
"That is my Bella voice. May I continue?"
All right.
Bella holds out her hand and uses the Force to levitate Danny and starts putting a spacesuit on him. Danny cries out, "Whoa, what is happening to me?" Then Bella sends Danny through the roof. Keep watching, and Randy and I will show you how he used Create Studio 4 to transform this idea into a video.
This is Randy
And Patrick!
with Create Studio 4 tips. There are 4 major components to making this video. 1. Crushing the can.
This is explained in another tutorial called How to Crush Background Removal. There is a link to the tutorial in the description. All Randy had to do was set a camera on a tripod and take a series of pictures as the can was being crushed. No studio was needed. Randy did all this in his living room.
2. Seamlessly change Danny's clothing.
We also have a tutorial covering this called Seamlessly Change Characters' Clothing. There is another link to this tutorial in the description.
3. Capture Danny and Bella when they have their hand outstretched. And 4. Creating a final Create Studio project that brought a can, Danny, and Bella all together. Let's start with the Danny project. Import the audio that will be used for Danny and Bella's dialogue. Add the first audio piece where Danny says he is a Jedi Knight to the timeline. Start the audio around 1 second. Now add Danny to the timeline and give him an idle action, followed by the high five action, another idle action, and finally the floating action. Next, size the first idle action so that it lasts to the end of the audio. Now as I scrub through the high five action, this is where I want to freeze on Danny's outstretched hand. Unfortunately, when I cut the action at this point, the high five action resets, so I will need to freeze the action in a different method. And that method will be to export this Danny project as a video with a transparent background and do the freeze action in the final project. I don't want this cut here, so I will undo with Command Z. After the high five action, use the idle action during Bella's dialogue. Drag the Bella audio clip onto the timeline to line up where the idle action starts. Drag the end marker of the idle action so that it lasts as long as Bella's talking. In fact, that is the only reason for the Bella clip in this Danny project, to get Danny's idle action timing right. We also want Danny to face Bella as she is talking. At the beginning of the idle action, click on Add Animation and select Character View. Click on the last keyframe to jump the playhead there. Then above the Danny character, click on the Rotate icon. Move your mouse inside the box, click and drag right to have Danny facing to the right.
The next step is to have Danny slowly put on his spacesuit, but as I explained earlier, that is covered in the Seamlessly Change Characters' Clothing tutorial.
Once the Danny project is ready, click on the Publish button and select the WebM format. Make sure to toggle Transparent on and publish the video. This will be a good time to mention that we also published the Can Crushing project as a transparent background video. Now it is time to work on the Bella project. But there is one piece of information I need to capture before leaving the Danny project, and that is to record the time we have the Bella audio inserted. From here, I see it was 8 seconds plus 10 frames. Okay, open a new project and import Bella's audio. We have a big decision to make here, which is where to add the audio to the timeline.
We know in the Danny project the Bella audio was at 8 seconds plus 10 frames.
That is true, but remember, we are going to freeze Danny for some time with his hand outstretched, so we must allow for that. I am going to take a guess that Danny needs 3 seconds to levitate and crush the can. So I will move the playhead to 11 seconds plus 10 frames and drag the Bella audio to start at the playhead. If I don't get the timing right, I will come back to the Spiller project and readjust. Now, add Bella to the canvas. Click on Add Actions and select to listening to another character action. And then add the hi-fi action followed by the idle action. I like this listening action because it naturally has Bella turning to the left, which works nicely as Danny is talking. Let's drag the endpoint of the listening action to where the dialogue ends. Alright, select the audio track and lip sync to Bella. Then publish this as a transparent video. It is time to pull all the transparent videos that we made together. Here I have a Creat Studio project and I have already loaded the Danny, Bella, and Can videos that we had published with transparent backgrounds earlier. Select a background so you know how to size and place Danny, Bella, and the can. I like this background, but I want to zoom in so I can make Danny and Bella bigger. I notice the clip lasts 10 seconds, and since this video will be longer than that, I will duplicate the background and move the duplicate to the side of the original. Add the Danny video. You may be tempted to size and reposition Danny to start with.
But don't do that. We have learned that we should do any freeze framing of a video before moving or resizing the object.
Patrick is correct, and you will see why in a minute. The next step is to find where to freeze Danny somewhere in his hi-fi action. If you recall, we had Danny's dialogue during the idle action, so I will use the audio waveform as a guide. I will jump the playhead after the waveform ends. Then I will step 1 frame at a time to determine where to do the freeze. Select the Danny track and do a right mouse click and select Take Snapshot. The snapshot appears in the media tray. Click and drag the snapshot onto the canvas. You will notice the snapshot is smaller than the original Danny, but if you click on either of these 2 expansion icons, the sizes and location of the 2 Dannys match.
This is the reason why you don't want to change or reposition Danny until after the freeze frame occurs. Otherwise, you will spend a lot of time trying to get them to match.
If you recall earlier, we guessed the freeze frame would last 3 seconds. So I will cut the snapshot after 3 seconds and delete the extra. Move the playhead to the start of the snapshot. Select the Danny video track and cut the video. Slide the section after the cut right past the snapshot. Then drag the snapshot down between the gap of the video. Next, use a mouse click and drag your mouse to select the 2 video clips and the snapshot. Right mouse click and select Group. To keep organized, rename the group to Danny. Now he can resize and reposition Danny, and because this is a group, the new size and position will apply to both video clips and the snapshot. Now it is time to add the Coca-Cola can. The length of the can video is much too short for this project, so I will need to take a snapshot of the beginning and ending can. These snapshots will fill any gaps we have at the beginning or end of the can video. What we need to do now is position the can video so that it can rotate and crush about 1 second after Danny's freeze frame starts. If you recall, that was at 7 seconds plus 19 frames, so jump the playhead to that time. Slide the can video left a little bit at a time to see if the cam rotates. In this case, I don't see any rotation even when the movie clip is moved to the very beginning. From here, I will advance the playhead 1 frame at a time until I see the rotation starts. I see it start to rotate at 1 frame past 8 seconds. If Danny levitates the cam for 1 second before the cam starts rotating, then this point where you see the arrow needs to be at 8 seconds plus 19 frames.
Wait! I can do this math. 19 minus 1. You need to slide the can video right 18 frames. But how are you going to do that? Eyeball it as you are sliding the clip, right?
Actually, that is how I get it initially, but the much easier method is to place your playhead 18 frames from the beginning and shift the cam video so that it starts at the playhead. Fill the gap before the can video with the beginning snapshot. Don't forget to make the snapshot fill the canvas or it will not be the same size as the can in the video. Size the snapshot to fill the gap of the can video and pull it onto the can track. Drag the ending can snapshot onto the timeline and fill to the canvas. Increase the duration of the snapshot to the end of the Danny track. Select all 3 clips and group them together. To keep organized, rename the group Cam. Next, resize the can so it matches the dimensions of Danny and the table. Jump the playhead to when Danny freeze frame starts. With the cam track selected, click on Add Animation. Select both the position and scale values. Jump the playhead to the last keyframe and increase the can size and change position so it appears to be floating in the air. Next, we need to search for when the can is fully crushed so we can add another animation to make it fall to the ground.
I noticed that the video seems to freeze or lag as you move the playhead.
Yes, that's true. It may be because my computer can't keep up. So sometimes I have to wait and let the video catch up or move 1 frame at a time. Okay, I have found the spot where to make the can fall to the ground, so I will add a position animation. Drag the last keyframe close to the first keyframe to make the can fall rather quickly.
Hey, Randy, you need to make your background longer. There you go!
Now it is time to bring in the Bella video and see if we need to make any adjustments to the timing. Jump the playhead to the start and drag the Bella video onto the canvas. I noticed right away that the audio waveform must be off. It is too close to the end of the video.
Randy and I have noticed that the waveform displayed is not always accurate to the sound produced. In this case, the actual sound is produced way back here.
Unfortunately, that means I have to guess when Belle raises her hand. I move the playhead around a bit until I find the spot where I want to freeze frame Bella, which is at the 16 seconds plus 26 frames. Then I notice the Bella timing is off, because Danny is already floating and has space boots and space pants on. So, the high five action is coming in too late. To find out how late, we need to find the time just before Danny starts floating. By moving 1 frame at a time, I determined Danny starts into the floating action at 15 seconds plus 22 frames.
Bella's high five is too late, or Danny's floating is too early. Obviously poor planning on your part when making the Bella video. How are we going to fix this?
The solution is to make these 2 events happen in the video at the same time.
I see. We could shift Bella's high five earlier. We need to open the Bella project and move the high five action 1 second to the left, which means you need to adjust the audio, then republish the Bella video with the transparent background. Then, of course, come back into this project and load the new video of Bella to replace the one already here. Is that how you suggest we fix it?
That is one way to do it, but I think an easier method is to add 1 more second to Danny's freeze frame, which will move him starting to float 1 second this way. Select the Danny track and then up here you can click on Open Group. You can also open a group by double-clicking on its track. Put your playhead at the beginning of the last clip on the track. Make note of the time of the playhead, which in this case is 10 seconds plus 20 frames. Move the playhead until it is at 11 seconds plus 24 frames. Click and move the last clip to the right so it starts at the playhead. Then extend the freeze frame clip to fill the gap. Before exiting the group, we need to remove the Bella dialogue that you see here. Since this dialogue is in both the Danny video and the Bella video, we don't want the final result to have her dialogue twice. However, we need to keep the Danny dialogue when he says,
"Hey, what is happening to me?"
Right, so cut the video between Bella's dialogue and Danny's dialogue. Select the clip which has the Bella dialogue by mouse clicking on it, In the Settings panel, set the volume to 0%. To exit the group editor, click on the Back to Main timeline you see above the canvas. Now that we have a Danny and Bella interaction synced up, it is now time to freeze frame Bella when she is using the force. Place the playhead at 16 seconds plus 26 frames. Right mouse click and select Take Snapshot. Drag the snapshot onto the canvas and fill to the canvas size. Cut the Bella video track at the start of the snapshot and move the section after the cut to the right. Find the time that Danny is wearing a space helmet for about 1 second. That is where you want to stop the freeze frame, so move the last video clip to that location. Resize the Bella snapshot to fill the gap and drag it in between the two video clips. Now with the mouse, select the two video clips and the snapshot and then group them. Rename this group Bella. Now you can resize and reposition Bella.
That covers all the difficult parts of making the Star Wars parody. The remaining items are to add the position animation to make Danny fly through the roof. Then do a jump cut to the outer space shot and add Danny in his astronaut suit. Use the position and scale animations at the same time to have Danny leave the Earth's atmosphere and fly past the camera. Plus, add Bella's audio clip where she says,
May the 4th be with you.
Hey Randy, let's play it and show everyone what it looks like.
Hey Bella, I am a Jedi Knight. Watch me use the Force to crush this can.
That's nothing. I will use the Force to throw you into outer space.
Whoa, what is happening to me?
May the 4th be with you.
Hey everyone, have a good day and happy creating.